All right. Can we acknowledge ourselves for being able to handle it being hot as hell? I don't think it's the swamp cooler. I think it's you. I got a sneaking suspicion. So take a breath right now. And remind yourself why you decided to come today. We're going to continue with the answer to prayer. What keeps us from having what we want and what can allow us to have what we want. So just for a moment, close your eyes and kind of blot out everything except your sweat. And I'm going to do a quick 5-minute meditation to get us centered in. Everybody who's tried to use prayer to ask for something has experienced what appears to be failure. You've asked for something you thought you wanted in prayer, and it looks like there was failure. That could have been you asking for something that would have been potentially harmful for you, as well as asking for things you think that are in line with what the truth is asking you to ask for, like peace, forgiveness, love, abundance, things that we're told are our natural divine right. And sometimes you seem to ask for that, and it doesn't appear to happen. But the main thing that you need to remember, that the Course in Miracles reminds us of, is that the purpose of the Course and the purpose of the truth is to escape from fear. So let's suppose what you ask of the higher power is something that you really want, but to tell the truth about it, you're still afraid of it, even though you're asking for it. You still have some fear about it. If that's the case, the achievement of it wouldn't really be what you really wanted, because no one really wants what frightens them. So if you're asking for a relationship and you're afraid of relationship, then you know at some level you're not asking for it. If you think you're asking for abundance and it looks like it's not happening, then there must be a part of you that's afraid of it. And sometimes you can ask for a physical healing, and at the same time, if you were healed physically, if you got the answer physically, if you got the healing physically, immediately, it would pose such a threat to your way of thinking that it would be very frightening to you. You know, if you said, I want the man of my dreams, I want the woman of my dreams, and you walk out of this church and they walk up to you and say, guess what? I'm the man of your dreams. You probably freak out. So you must ask for the release from the fear of having what you think you want. Because if you ask for the release of fear and the release from fear, then you're actually asking for the block to be removed that keeps you from having the thing that you think you want. So you want to tell yourself, no matter what you believe right now, even if you don't believe it right now, because we know you don't have to believe this, you don't have to accept this, you don't have to welcome it. Some of the ideas you may actively resist and find quite startling to you. So I'm not asking you to believe it, but go ahead and let yourself think this thought. And if you feel like saying this thought, it's okay. If not, I'll say it for you. There is nothing to fear. 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 I'm not saying you don't think there is. There is nothing to fear. In reality, there is nothing to fear. No matter what you think, there is nothing to fear. Woo. There is nothing to fear. Tell yourself, there is nothing to fear. I know you may think there is, but there is nothing, 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 not a thing, not a thing, not a thing, not a thing, not a thing to fear. Yeah. Course in Miracles book, I'm going to be on page 164 in the text. And I'm going to be on paragraph 3 in the section called The Answer to Prayer, which is section 2 in chapter 9. I've had people online say they would appreciate it if I just told them specifically where it is. So I'll say it again. We're in chapter 9 in The Answer to Prayer, which is section 2, and it's called The Acceptance of the Atonement, which means the acceptance of the undoing of my fear, the acceptance of whatever is blocking me, letting it go. So I'm going to read the paragraph, then come back and say what I think the main point is that the Spirit is trying to make, throw it open for any questions or comments, go to the next part, okay, so we can move through this and hear it, okay? Now, remember, the Course in Miracles is taking 1,000 different approaches to telling us the same thing. So it's not necessary to obsess over any particular sentence or paragraph that you think you didn't understand, because it's going to restate it 1,000 more times in another way. So that's just a trick to think, I've got to get this paragraph and I'm not going further until I understand it. That's a trick. The book is saying the same things about many different things 1,000 different ways. So if you don't hear it one way, keep going. That's the way you finish the course. One of the ways that you finish the Course in Miracles is the willingness to keep on reading if you think you didn't understand what you read. Because what Spirit wants from us is a little bit of willingness to hear another way to look at it. It's not asking for us to be perfect in our understanding, because it actually teaches that our understanding is not a powerful contribution to the truth, and that our understanding does not make the truth true. So I don't know how to break it to you, but your understanding does not contribute to the truth. Does not make it true or not, okay? So that relaxes me. I don't know about you, but that relaxes me. So it says, the Bible emphasizes that all prayer is answered, and it's indeed true. All prayer is answered. The very fact that the higher power has been asked for anything will ensure a response. So you can't ask the higher power for anything and not get a response. You can't ask God for anything and not get a response. You can't ask the universe for anything and not get a response. Yet it's equally certain that no response given by Holy Spirit, the voice for God within you, will ever be an answer or response that would increase your fear. Bingo! Okay, so if I'm asking for guidance, the answer will not increase my fear. So if I say I'm listening to something that Spirit's telling me to do, but yet I'm more afraid than ever, then it means I haven't heard the guidance. It means I'm hearing what I'm telling myself the guidance is. You hear what I'm saying? So really quick now, if you say you ask Spirit for something and you feel more upset, more apprehensive, more afraid, you didn't hear your guidance. Your guidance doesn't make you feel more afraid. Your guidance makes you feel more peaceful. Okay? So if I was asking for something and asking for another way to look at it, and all of a sudden I felt more fear about the answer that I thought I received, I wouldn't go a step further until I had dealt with the fear that I'm feeling, because the fear means I'm not hearing correctly. So I wouldn't act out of my fear. I wouldn't let my fear guide me and then say it's love or truth that's guiding me. All right, if you're scared to death to pick up the phone and call somebody, what do you want to do first? You want to deal with the fear first. You want to get to a place of being centered first, then make the phone call. You don't want to make decisions and move out of fear. Okay, we got that part. Okay, then it goes on to say, it's impossible, however, I love that it says, it's possible that God's answer won't be heard. Really? It's possible that we don't hear the answer from Spirit. It's impossible that we lose the answer from Spirit. So I might not hear what you're saying, but the truth is the answer will not be lost. I might not hear it, but the answer won't be lost. So what does that mean? Well, it means there are many answers you've already received that you haven't heard yet. You've been getting guidance that you haven't heard yet. There are many answers about whatever it is you think you're going through right now that you'd like to have healed in your life. You have the answer. You've been receiving the answer. You just haven't heard the answer yet. And the Course teaches the reason why we haven't heard the answer yet is we're listening to the answers we made up. So what I do is I make up what I want to happen, then I ask Spirit what to do. I come up with my plan about everything, then I ask Spirit what to do. It would be smart if I've never been to South America and I'm going through the jungle for me to follow the guide, rather than for me to make up my path through the jungle before I get there and then ask the guide to follow my path. And if the guide followed the path that I've come up with and showed me how to use the path I've come up with, now that's a good guide. That's what we do. Rather than go, guide, you know the way through the jungle. I want to learn how to listen to you. I'm still in charge because I hired you. Okay, so I'm still in charge of the journey, but you know the way. So I'm going to listen to you because you're familiar with the way I'm not. That's not the way we do it. We come up with the way, even if we don't know the way around the jungle of our experience. And then we tell God to follow the path we made up for us to get there. And if God doesn't follow that, then we say, well, that wasn't God's guidance. That wasn't Spirit's guidance. It didn't do it the way I decided that I wanted it done. But not doing it the way that you may have decided you wanted it done may be the key to having what you want. It's not like Spirit's plan is going to fail. So if it hasn't happened, it's not like the Creator's plan failed. If it hasn't happened, it's been my plan that's been failing separate from the plan of Creator. So a really smart person is a person who is clear about what they want, but they're totally and completely open to guidance about how to have it. And then the Course in Miracles takes it further than that. It says what you really want, ta-da, is love and happiness and joy and peace and abundance, right? That's what everybody in here wants, right?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, you can't expect the universe to get no more excited about your experience than you are. Okay? You might want to put a little energy out there for your own thing. You know, I'm just putting it out there, you know. You want to be happy, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Maybe. Yeah. Yes, I want to be happy. Yes, I want to be happy.
Yes, I.
Yes. Doggone it. I want to be happy so much that I'm willing to be wrong. That's how happy I am. I hope I'm wrong about most things that's going on. Be absolutely honest about it, right? Wherever your life isn't working, you want to hope you're wrong about that. You don't want to be right and miserable. Because where do you go if you're doing it right, but you're not receiving anything that you think you want? That's just your ego needing to be right. A smart person goes, wow, I keep trying to freeze ice by putting it in front of this fan. And it's not working. And I'm totally disgusted. But I want to be right about I need to freeze the ice by putting it in front of the fan. It'd be better for me to go, I hope I'm wrong about what I'm trying to do to freeze the ice. So I can find out, oh, you need to put it in the fridge. See, but and that's what we do also in relationships. You're the one. And I'm absolutely sure of it. The restraining order, I overlooked that. That's just the challenge I'm being presented. But God knows I'm supposed to be with you. Okay? And Spirit is saying, I know who would be best for you to be within your experience right now. I know what would be the best way for you to express yourself. I know the thing that would make you happy. I know exactly what it would be. Oh, wait a minute. I've already decided. I just need you to do it my way. I want to be right more than I want to be happy. So I want to tell you right now, I hope I'm wrong in every area of my life that I'm not happy in. I want to admit to you, I hope I'm wrong in any area of my life that I don't feel peace in. I hope I'm wrong in any perception that brings me fear. I hope I'm wrong about anything that keeps me from feeling fulfilled and joyful and loving. I don't want to be right if I'm miserable. Okay? So what do? You put everything in a question form. You go, what would it take for me to go beyond all the fear that I think I have in ways beyond my wildest imagination through Spirit? You want to start talking to Spirit in questions. You don't want to talk to Spirit in statements and conclusions. You want to talk to Spirit in questions, because the mere fact that you're asking your higher power, in a question form, that is symbolic of your willingness to admit you might not know, and you're open to receiving. When you tell Spirit what you want, you're not asking. You're declaring. And so nothing happens. But if you already know the answer, there's no reason for me to give you one. Right? If you're already sure about everything, there's no need for me to tell you another way to look at it. So how do I do it? Holy Spirit, what would it take for me to be able to experience my life in such a way that I'm completely joyful and fulfilled in ways beyond my wildest imagination? So you want to go in ways beyond my wildest imagination. And you want to say it that way Because you want to take the lid off of what you can receive by being willing to receive more than you can think of. And you want to also open your mind up so that it can come to you in ways that you didn't think of. So you say, in ways beyond my wildest imagination. Got it? Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. So then it goes on to say, okay, before I go to the next paragraph, any questions or comments about anything that I've said so far? So I'm still going to do an hour, which was about 5 minutes after, 2 minutes after. You have to run. That's perfectly okay. We know how busy you are and how important this stuff you got to do. No questions, no comments. Okay, let me throw something out to you then. If you ask for something in fear, would the achievement of it be something that you would really want?
No.
Okay. Are you receiving answers to everything you've ever asked, but the possibility is that you are just not hearing it?
Yes.
Why is it that you haven't been hearing it? Because I'm listening to my ego, I'm listening to the voice that I made up, right? Right? How do I know it's the voice I made up? It hasn't happened.
That's right.
Because it certainly isn't that the infinite intelligence of the universe fails.
Yeah.
It might be my perception that's failing. So a conscious being lets go of the idea that they know their own best interest. A conscious being knows that they do not know their own best interest, and that there's something greater within them that knows their own best interest, and they're trying to do everything in their power to remove the blocks to hearing that part of them that does know their own best interest. An unconscious being, an asleep being, makes up what they think they want, and then tries to manipulate their experience and everyone in it to make what they think they want happen, whether the other people want to cooperate or not. And if they don't cooperate, you say they don't support me. Then you try to make them feel guilty, and you tell them you love them. So, instead of doing it the easy way, right? God's answer is always going to be something you can do now. Where you are now, with the resources you have now, and the talents you have now. Ego answers that do not come from your higher self will always be future-oriented or past-oriented. It'll be, I will be happy after I get my degree. I will be happy after I get that job. I will be happy after I get a $50,000 a year income or whatever. Every ego or false guidance always involves something you can't use now. See how easy you can tell the difference between love and fear, or the truth and illusion if a person was really open to it? Why is it that there's so much resistance? Well, because that's the way I do it. I'm always looking to the future, and I'm always looking to the past. I'm listening to what I think is best for me, rather than saying I want to listen to something else. So what I'm hearing, I have resistance to, because it's so opposite to the way I've learned to express myself. Ta-da! Wasn't that complicated? Right? Then the Course in Miracles goes on to say, if you want to know your prayers answered, never doubt a child of God. Don't question the child of God. Don't confound the child of God, because your faith in the child of God is your faith in yourself. Ooh. Ooh. If you would know the Creator and the Creator's answer, believe in your own higher self, or believe in your guide, the Christ mind within you, whose faith in you cannot be shaken. So could you ask of God truly and then doubt your brother? Believe that your brother's words are true because of the truth that's in your brother, and then you will unite with the truth that's in your brother or sister, and their words will be true, and as you hear them, you will be hearing your higher self. So listen to truth. Listening to the truth is the only way you can hear it now and finally know it. Now, what does that mean? Well, it means that the message that a person gives to you is up to you. So what is the person saying to you? Well, what would you have the person say to you? Your decision about a person determines the message you receive from a person. Your decision about me determines the message that you receive from me. My decision about you determines the message I receive from you. So if I see you as an innocent child of God, if I look for the love in you, if I look for the truth in you, if I'm focusing on what's right about you, what's good about you, what's real about you, that's what's going to respond to me. If I'm looking for what I can't trust in you, what's suspicious in you, what's not real in you, then that's what I see. So people are only giving you what you are perceiving in them. That's why you know it's true, and I'll tell you how you can tell that's true. The same person is driving you crazy, there's another person that's giving them a present today because they're so grateful to them for how beautifully they're treating them. The same person. What? Yeah. The person you may not like, somebody else might be totally in love with and grateful for. Same person, why is this person getting such a wonderful reflection out of this person and you catching hell? That's your consciousness and what you're focusing on determining what you're seeing. Because there are but two things you're seeing anyway, love or a call for love. That's all the person is giving you any kind of way. That's deep, isn't it? You're trying to tell me that I receive from you what I'm looking for in you and what I believe is in you. That's what I'm experiencing with you. Guess what? All of you are wonderful, beautiful, friendly, open, loving beings as far as I can see toward me. There's nobody here saying, I'm going to get you, black man. I got a gun right here. I'm going to get your ass today. Nobody's coming at me like that. Why not? Because that's not what I'm looking for in you. Yeah. That's not what I'm focusing on in you. And most of all, that's not what I'm focusing on in me. Because what I see in myself is what I'm going to see in you, period. Woo! People who don't enjoy their life don't like this stuff. Because that means that everybody else isn't to blame about what I'm going through. And if whatever I'm experiencing is a reflection of my own consciousness, then wow, then I need to change my mind fast. But guess what? It's easier to change your mind than to change mine. So if you're going to change somebody's mind, yours is the easiest one to change for you. I like the lazy man's guide to enlightenment. So the lazy man's guide to enlightenment is always going to be the easiest way for me to do it. I'm sorry. I have an agreement with Holy Spirit that if you're guiding me, there are going to be two things that's going to happen. That the obstacles will be removed before I get to it. And then the Course says the Spirit in you will tell you what to do and do it for you. Now that's good stuff. I don't know about you. Look here, I'm going to tell you you need to bake a cake, but guess what? I'll bake the cake for you. I'm going to tell you what to do and I'm going to do it for you. Let me give you an example of exactly how it works. And if it's not working this way, then you might want to reconsider whether or not it's exactly what it is that you want to do. Remember, something that comes from the Holy Spirit, something that comes from your higher self, according to this, is something that should come with ease and glory and with harmony and peace and love. The no pain, no gain. You got to jump, no pain, no gain. You have to jump, no pain, no gain. You have to jump that thought. That's an ego thought. That's not a true thought. That's a thought that a man makes up that's full of guilt and fear and struggle and is believing what the world taught them. And because you create through what you think, if you believe it, you're going to experience it. So you can't say that what I'm saying is not true because you haven't experienced it, because you experienced what you believe. And that's all you experience, right? So that doesn't mean what I'm saying isn't necessarily true. It just means it's not true for you. Because you believe something else, so you're experiencing something else. But guess what? On the other side of what you believe is everything you want. It's waiting for you. Can't wait to get to you. The universe loves us. We were born in love. We're surrounded by love. How come I don't feel it? Well, it's because you're not telling yourself that. And you're not surrounding yourself with people who witness to that for you. You have surrounded yourself with people who witness to what you believe about yourself. For real. All right. So now you're surrounded with people who want to be loving and want to be loved just like you do. So there must be some part of you now that's trying to peek out at you that really wants to care about you and love you and give you some good stuff. And you wouldn't be sitting here with us because we cool. You know, we cool. We cute, we luscious, and we want to be loving. So if you're sitting in this room, there's some part of you that's really cool. And the part of you that's afraid of that part of you that's cool, it will never bring you back. That's all right. You can't get away from it. It's too late. So the Course your good is going to stalk you at this point. That's why you think it's hot as hell today in here. Because there's a part of us that wants to use discomfort to keep us from gathering like this. Or here's another thing the Course says. It's a distraction. Yes. Right? But actually it's not. If it was really comfortable, you'd probably go to sleep. That's why they used to keep rooms really, really cold when you go do workshops and stuff. They purposely do that. Because they know if you were really comfortable as you think you would be, the part of you that doesn't want to hear this would take you out. But if you're kind of miserable, it's hard to go to sleep. So I'm very happy for your misery. I hope you don't get too comfortable today so that you'll stay awake. All right? Then it goes on to say, what could so innocent a brother tell you except the truth? It says, remember that the Holy Spirit is in this person. I'm going to do it in plain language. Remember that the higher power is in this person, and that the higher power's voice will speak to you through this person. And what can so innocent, loving, powerful, holy a person tell you except the truth? But are you listening to it? Now, the other person may not know who they are. The other person may not know who they are. The other person may not know that they're loving, that they're innocent, that they're spiritual, that they're powerful. But the Court says, but there's a light, there's a truth in that person's mind that does know. So what is that? What in the heck does that mean? You may not know that you're the loving, powerful, unlimited being that you are, but there's a part of you that does know how loving and how powerful and how innocent you are. And the Court says, now, if you tune into that part of that person, that light or truth in that person's mind can shine into your mind, and that will give truth to that person's words, making you able to hear the truth in that person's words, because that person's words are actually going to be the Holy Spirit's answer to you. But is your faith in another person strong enough to hear God's answer? In other words, Spirit's going to use you to communicate with me as much as it's going to use me to communicate with me. But do I have faith that you all have a divinity enough to let the divinity in you communicate to me? If I think that you're not divine, if I think that you're not love, if I think that you're not spirit, then I won't hear the voice of the Holy Spirit. I won't hear the love in you. If I don't think there's love in you, I won't hear the voice for love in you. So that puts a lot of responsibility on me. Right? Because it means that people are treating me the way that I see them as being, and they're reflecting that back to me. So I need to start focusing on the truth in you. And notice it says you don't have to necessarily know who you are. So it doesn't mean I got to preach to anybody. It doesn't mean I got to try to change my family. It doesn't mean I have to try to get them to get into the Course in Miracles and any kind of metaphysical truth. It actually doesn't mean I have to do a doggone thing with anybody in any kind of way at all. It just means I need to change my mind about what you are, and you will tell me the truth from God that I need to hear. I had that happen to me when I was in Amsterdam a few years ago. I met this young lady, we was having dinner, we were talking, and she was a course student. And this happens to me a lot after 30 years of dealing with this. All of a sudden, she started channeling answers to things I was asking about. And it was such a trip. Because after she got through telling me exactly what Spirit wanted me to hear through her, that I recognized was the guidance that I was trying to receive, then she started back to talking in a regular way without ever realizing that she'd ever been used by Spirit to give me a message. When my sister made her transition a few years ago, I was at a conference, and I was walking from the building we were doing the conference back to my room with another student. We were rapping. And it hadn't been long since my sister had made her transition, which was through a fire. And all of a sudden, she started communicating to me. My sister started communicating to me through this lady and telling me that she was okay and everything was all right. The lady never knew it. Now, to you, that may sound like a bunch of crock. I really don't care. But the truth is, when you practice the ideas and you use the ideas, you will start to see that the ideas are true. And you'll never see the ideas are true if all you do is doubt the possibility that God is great enough to communicate to you at all times through anybody. See, we've got to stop limiting our Creator to our limited beliefs about what we think can occur. That's our biggest problem, is the temptation to think that things can be greater than what you can imagine and things beyond what you believe is true. That's what blocks us. Now, the fact that I'm open to God communicating to me through anything, the squirrel got pretty close to me the other day in the park. I wasn't quite ready for him to start rapping in me, but I'm on the way to squirrel consciousness. I'm working on that. I'm hoping very soon I'll be sitting there and the squirrel will just start rapping hard to me about some stuff. Because animals have been doing weird things with me lately. They've been coming closer. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're not acting like they usually do. They're actually like coming right up to me. And then I was in Washington, in England, and this bird just landed on my arm, and then another one landed on my shoulder. And I remember reading in spiritual books that if your consciousness begins to change, then animals and birds will stop being afraid of you because they'll know they're safe. That's a good way to tell when you're not predominantly a fear-based person, is how animals react to you and people's dogs. Wow. And the truth is, the bird was absolutely right. I didn't want to hurt the bird. You see what I'm saying? It's like the bird had a good judge of character. And that's what I say to people when they say, well, I trust you, I feel open to you. What I say to them is, you're a good judge of character. Because I really don't want to harm you in any way. So the fact that you feel like you can trust me means you can recognize people who are valuable. But if you walk up to me and you think I'm here to hurt you, then that tells me more about you than it tells me about me. The untrustworthy person isn't trustworthy. So the person that's full of suspicion because they think they're so trustworthy and someone else might not be, is actually the person that's not trustworthy. Because that's why they're focusing on it. Because you know whether or not your motive is to harm. And if you know your motive isn't to harm and somebody's treating you like you might hurt them, that's telling you how fearful their mind is. That's telling you how they can't perceive correctly. Besides, if I'm not trying to get anything from you, how can you hurt me? How can you take advantage of me anyway? If I'm in a place of wanting to give to you freely from my heart, how can you take advantage of my love? I'm not trying to get anything back from you. So how can you manipulate me? It's only when there's a bargain I'm looking for that I'm trying to make sure I get just as much as I give. And you better give me what I'm giving you. Now I'm watching everything that you're doing. And now I feel like you could take advantage of me. So what does that tell me about that person? Everything I need to know. Really quick, the Course in Miracles teaches there are no private thoughts. They're basically just people who don't observe and listen. All you have to do is listen. People tell you everything you need to know. Just watch them and listen. That's it. Any questions about this much of what I've said? Yes?
So if someone's attacking you and it's really a reflection on them, it's a reflection on us too. I mean, at some level, because...
Yeah, whatever I see is in you. Whatever I see in you is in me, or I couldn't see it.
Right.
Right.
So it goes both ways.
Always.
Yeah. So you
Always.
have to be honest with yourself about why somebody is attacking
you.
you.
Yeah, why did I attract the person that's attacking me?
Right. Right.
Right. They wouldn't be there unless I have attack thoughts myself. So they're making me aware that I have my own attack thoughts. But don't stop there. You want to take it to the next level. And the next level is, that's my call for love. That's my call for love. Yeah, don't end on, I'm just attacking and they're attacking. You want to end on, when I'm angry right now, that's my call for love. That's my call for peace. That's my call for a solution. That's why I'm so upset right now. I need love. And then if I misperceive, I'm going to respond to your call for love as if I'm being attacked. So luckily through the Course, more quickly than ever, I realize if I'm all upset and I'm responding from a place of anger or fear, that there may be something about my perception that needs to be corrected, rather than thinking that my anger is self-righteous anger, so I'm justified in it. Now, if you don't want to see things in a loving way, if you don't want peace, can I give you a little tip? You're going to come up with every reason why what I just said was a bunch of crap. You're going to point out every situation you come up with where somebody attacks and you should feel justified in attacking back. Okay? If you want to keep attacking, you will just see fallacy in everything that I'm saying, because that's a way of justifying you continually doing what you've been doing all the time. Only people who want to change can hear another point of view. Only people who want to change can hear another point of view. People who want to stay the way they are, they listen to everything in terms of how it couldn't possibly work. So you can tell who wants to change and who doesn't by how open-minded they are. But if all you want to do is justify your desire to attack, well, I gotta keep holding that grievance because my daddy really mistreated me when I was a little baby. And yeah, you might have gone through that experience, but if I'm not mistaken, I don't see nobody's daddy beating nobody's butt right now. I don't see no boyfriend from the past, no girlfriend from the past right now. I don't see no boss in the room. I don't see any of those things. Do you see them around you right now?
No.
Okay, so then you're talking about something from the, which is the gone. So when you're thinking about the future, which is the not yet, and you're thinking about the past, which is the gone, you're actually thinking about nothing that actually exists. Your mind is actually blank. So most of the time we have blank minds. That's a high Zen state. We should be proud of ourselves. The blank mind state is what we should be working toward. But guess what? Our minds are blank most of the time. Because I'm always thinking about the past and the future a lot. Aren't you? You might be sitting here right now thinking about the air conditioner in the future. How it's going to be cool later on, you know what I'm saying? So you don't have to feel guilty about your thoughts if you're thinking about the past or the future, because when you're thinking about the past or future, you're not thinking about something that truly exists right now. And no matter what your father or mother did to you in the past, they're not doing it to you in this moment, so you can choose a different way of thinking in this moment so you could have a different experience now. There's no excuses no more. You got to give your story of your past doesn't get it anymore. Sorry. The only thing that you should remember about your past are the loving thoughts, the loving times, the loving experiences. Because if you're thinking about the loving things that happened to you in the past, the Course in Miracles teaches that that's now. Because you feel that love now. So that's really not thinking about the past. That's really thinking about what's real all the time, which is love right now. So there's no such thing as past love. If it's love, you feel it now. Is that cool? Yeah. Isn't it great that we can look at things another way and have another experience if we wanted to anytime we want to? That's why I'm going to ask you to do the hardest thing that you might have ever been asked to do for the rest of the day or the week. Leave everybody else alone. Allow them to be how they are, just as they are. Trust that God didn't make a voice for you only, that you're not that special, that you're the only one that's getting any guidance, and so therefore if you don't fix somebody, they're not going to get fixed. It would be so relaxing. You'd be amazed at how much more you would enjoy today if you didn't see yourself as the great corrector of everything and everyone. It'd just be a cool down day. See, I trust you. I trust that God is in you. I trust that Spirit is in you. I trust that you have guidance within you. And I honor that by not trying to correct you myself. Trinity, did you have your hand up?
I did.
Okay.
My question keeps changing. But when somebody continues to have attack thoughts, so let's get right to the point. So I've been with somebody who continues to have attack thoughts, and I keep going to peace, going to peace, going to peace. Don't you come to a point sometime where you're like, okay, then now I'm going to walk away?
It should have happened probably sooner. There's a line in the Course in Miracles that goes, I quote, "Recognize misery and go the other way." Did y'all hear that?
Yeah.
Recognize misery and go the other friggin' way. That's too easy. Okay, you're telling me I should just allow people to be how they are and trust that God's with them as God is with me. And that if there is something for me to do, Spirit will tell me what to do, and not only tell me what to do it for me. That if I really want something, I won't be afraid of what I'm asking for. That people will respond to me according to what I believe about them deep within my heart, and so therefore I could have love coming to me from everybody, but just believing that they have love within them to share. And my job is to get rid of everything within me that keeps me from recognizing that's true. And if I do that, I'll have everything I've ever wanted in my heart. And none of that required anything of me that I couldn't do today. Now all together now, right after me. Yes, but.
Yes.
One more time. Yes, but. One more time. Yes, but. One more time. Yes, but. And you all have some of the nicest yes buts I've ever seen. All right. Yes. Oh, it is. I got them up. They're coming up. Come on.
So I experienced God coming to me and people coming to me through people as well. And sometimes it's much more blunt and straightforward than expected. And I get really anxious. How can I deal with that anxiety?
Let me ask. Well, anxiousness is just an aspect of our ego. So really my anxiousness is just my ego feeling threatened by what I've just heard. Because every time you listen to Spirit and you really pay attention to Spirit, the part of you that thinks it's in charge is really not, then it knows it's losing its power over you, and that part of the mind gets anxious and afraid. Okay? Because it's the part of me that doubts. Now what's really cool about it is this. Since there is a part of me that's that way, why don't I just allow it? But then go ahead and listen to the guidance I just got. So, you know what I'm saying? Like my ego voice, my fearful voice, he might say, really, you should attack this person. You should go, you know you should attack. Attack is the way to handle this. And I go ahead and I listen to that part of myself, but I don't let it direct my actions as much as I used to. Notice I don't say, I'll never let that direct my actions anymore. You'll never hear me say that as long as you can see me. Because as long as you can see me, I still have an ego and I'm here to learn. So whenever I hear anybody talking absolutes while they're still in the body, then I just don't want to be riding in the car with them. Because they're going to create things to show them that they're not as sure about themselves as they say they are. And I don't necessarily want to experience the results of your thinking with you. Because that's what happens in a relationship. You experience the results and the effects of a person's thinking with them. That's what you do when you say, I'm going to be in a relationship. You're saying, I want to go through what you make yourself go through with you. Because I'm your partner. I'm your friend. So if you want, you know what I'm saying? It's like the accomplice sometimes, the person that's with the person sometimes get in as much trouble as the person that actually did it. Because they're having to experience the result of that person's thought that they're in a relationship with them. You know, you get with somebody and they got bad credit. You're going to have to experience the result of that bad credit with them. Especially if you go try to buy something together. So when you're picking out a partner, you need to make sure you're picking out someone and they're picking out someone and you all are joining to lighten the load, to move each other faster, not to slow each other down. Most people move faster alone. And it's only when they are ready to delay themselves that they want a relationship. Amen. Okay, so does that mean you can't have a relationship and the relationship doesn't serve a useful purpose? I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying that you learn what a real relationship is and how to be in one and how to use the relationship to speed both of you faster. Right? My favorite analogy that Spirit gave me 6 months ago or so was the analogy of you trying to move a heavy sofa. Right? And you trying to lift it, and then somebody else comes, they say, well, I'll help you. They grab the other end of the sofa, and you move it, that lightened your load. The partnership made your life easier. The way we do relationships, we're trying to lift the sofa, and the person comes and sits on it. Be with that for a second. You're trying to do it, right? But instead of making it easier, they come and at your request, create lessons and situations and circumstances that you look like is slowing you down. So relationships are easy. 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 If you do it right. What does that mean? Freedom. That never flies in the class. And yet, in 35 years of teaching, ever said love was freedom and watch people get excited. It's amazing, isn't it? Very seldom do you ever say a relationship should be based on freeing each other. That you ever hear the way we've been programmed, hear us be happy about that. Because the way we've been programmed, according to the Course, is we think love is limitation. And it's in control. So the more I'm limiting you and controlling you, that's how I have a safe relationship with you. The more rules you have, the more fear you have between each other. I'll say it one more time. The more rules you have, the more fear you have between each other. Because you don't have to make laws for people who love each other. You make laws for people who don't. That's why we have so many. You know, a person who loves you is not going to rob you. A person who doesn't will. So it's a law for them. Loving people don't need rules. Because they know that love is the only answer. And I love knowing that that's true whether you believe it or not. That's the cool part about it. Spirit would never have you limited by other people's beliefs. Isn't that good news?
Yes. Yes.
I can tell. Anybody else? I saw another hand over there. Back in the back.
Yes.
Let me put my glasses on. I'm still on a level of consciousness where I think I need little pieces of glass before my eyeballs to see better.
I'm dealing with I guess a level in spirit where I just need to be silent. However, I'm dealing with a lot of internal resistance
Mm-hmm.
with that, and I guess with that, kind of differentiate what is, it's painful. I don't know if it's the ego that's pain or is it spirit that's painful. You know what I'm kind of saying? And in
Okay.
reference to trying to follow this being still and quiet, you know, it's a struggle.
Well, if you were to be still and you were to be quiet, you hear the voice for spirit. You hear the voice for God. Now, if you hear the voice for love and the voice for God, then whatever that part of you that thinks you deserve to be in conflict would no longer be in charge, and so therefore you be free of all pain. So the part of you that thinks you just don't deserve to be free of all pain, because after all, if you were like me, I was taught I was born in sin, and I was taught that I was guilty and bad, and that God's son died 2,000 years ago for things, for me, before I was 2,000 years old. Anyway, it's kind of confusing sometimes. And so, as soon as we get here, we're infinite creators, right? That we create through our consciousness, through our thoughts, right? And then someone tells us you're guilty, you're sinful, you're bad. That's the thought that was implanted in your mind as early as possible, guilty in some way. Then as a creator, you create situations and circumstances that reflect that guilt back to you in the form of accidents, lack, disease, relationships that don't work, jobs you hate, and everything you think is making you unhappy right now. So you have to let go of the idea that you're guilty and sinful. You must let go of the idea that you're flawed. You must let go of the idea that your Creator punishes you and hurts you. If we don't deal with those core ideas like that, then you're going to continue to create situations that give you punishment and pain. That's where they come from. So you got to let it go. So what I'm saying to you is, it's natural when you first try to listen to yourself to have that part of you that feels that kind of conflict and tries to keep you from hearing it. You know, that means you're reaching for the light, which is great. Another thing that would be great to do is never associate pain with love. Never associate pain with God, ever. So don't say that stuff like, God gave me this so that I could learn this lesson. I'm going through this because God wanted me to go through this so I could learn a lesson. You want to let go of that thought. What happened was, you could have had that thing easily and lovingly and flowingly without any kind of pain at all. Some part of you didn't think you deserved to have it that way, so you created this situation that you're going through. Then Spirit uses the situation that you're going through that you didn't have to go through as a lesson in love. So in that sense, you're right. It's a lesson God would have you learn, right? But only because you created the circumstances, and so Spirit's going to use it as a lesson. Everybody with me on that? Okay, so I'm going to tell you this again. You could have a flowing, easy, loving life where things come to you in a blissful, happy, easy. You know what I'm saying? Easy. Like Sunday morning. You know what I'm saying? You can have it easy. You go, I don't believe I can have it easy. Okay, then you have it hard. Okay, now you have it hard right now because there's a part that believes what? That I deserve to have it hard. So therefore, God will use the situation that you're giving yourself a hard time in to bring you back to love and to bring you back to happiness and bring you back to truth and use it as a lesson. Does that make sense? So don't say the universe or Spirit is giving you this challenge that you're going through right now so that you can grow. That's not true. You are giving yourself the challenge that you're going through right now. And Spirit is using it for your growth. Well, you acknowledge yourself for hearing this much right here, Holy Spirit. Lord, have mercy. Look at these few people around here. We should give it up to them too. Woo! There's a lot of new faces in the house. Let me give you the contact list. Now let me explain something about the contact list. I don't contact you a lot. Basically what I do is I video all of my classes, and then I send out emails once a week with the 2 classes. They're on YouTube link and on my website link, so you can listen back to what you just heard so that you can use it. And it also lets you know when I'm here, when I'm not. Okay, so It's good to be on a contact list because I don't know if you realize this or not, but there's a possibility you might not remember everything that was said. Okay? So is there anyone who would like to be on the contact list that's here today so that you can know what's going on, and you can also get a chance to listen back to what I just taught today? Good, great. Would you pass it over to him next? See, it's really hard for me to believe, and think about this. Do you really think it's possible that a person could really want something and not want the way to get it?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so what I say is I want peace and joy and love. The Course in Miracles is one of the ways that I could get it, but I'm not studying it. Okay, you don't really want what it is you're not willing to do the thing it takes to receive it. Right? So would it be helpful to listen back to the classes that we were just hearing? Yeah. And why? Because we don't hear this all the time. So I want to thank you. Right now I'm sending around the bag for the financial expression of appreciation. I really want to thank you for sharing with me. I do this full time in the world, and I appreciate your sharing. And God is my source, and God is your source. But I want to also be especially grateful to the channels. And that's what you are. You're a channel. Tuesday night, we have another class called The Way of Mastery right here at 7 o'clock. That's another awesome class. And those of you online, thank you. And if you'd like to make a financial expression of appreciation, you can go to my website, earlpurdy.com. And if you want to have a one-on-one session with me called a clarity session, where we take all these principles and apply it to the situation that you're going through, and if you're open to it, I also use astrology and numerology as another way to get information, then we can do that. So if you go to my website, then you can see what it's all about, and we can set up a time to talk. So if you've reached your limit and you're ready to look at, now here's another thing I like to say too though. It doesn't matter what I tell you in a session, if you don't use it, it'll look like the session wasn't working. I just want to make that clear. You know, if whenever a person tells me the Course in Miracles doesn't work, or they tried the truth principles and it didn't work, I always know they didn't. Just immediately they just revealed to me they didn't. Because there's no way you can apply the truth and not get the result. There's no way that happens. Now, did I think I did it? Yes. Can I think I actually made the move? Yes. How do I know that I really didn't do it? I don't see what? The result. Okay. So wherever you don't see the result, no matter what you're telling yourself, you're not applying the principles consistently. And you're not looking at it the way we're being taught to look at it. That's the area where you're not living the truth. So if you're broke and you see yourself as not having abundance right now, that's where you're not applying the truth principles is in that area of your life. Whatever you think is lacking in your experience, that's where you're not applying the truth. Now the ego part of the mind would say, I am doing it. I'm doing it all the time. I'm focusing on it every second. What the heck are you talking about? Right, but you're not. Why? Because I don't see the result. That's all you have to do. And then what do? I want another way to look at this. What would it take for me to remove all blocks to being able to apply this in a way that I will perceive the result in ways beyond my wildest imagination? I want another way to look at this. That's it. But I don't know, what is the other way to look at it? What do you mean other way to look at it? How can I get another way to look at it? Well, there are 1,000 pages in this book that gives you another way. I just shared some today, didn't I? And this one over here. And I'm not mistaken, these are just two of many paths, many ways. Spirit can. But you notice this is something that I didn't make up. And see what I'm saying? And maybe that's the key to happiness. Is learning how to listen to wisdom that's greater than your own. I don't know. It's a radical concept. Okay, so before I complete this, any questions or any comments about anything you've heard? Because I love to say stuff like, one thing I heard today that I would really like to remember is...
I really don't like that part that says you have received many answers, but you haven't heard it. That just really, I'm still kind of mad about it.
Good. I'm so glad. If I do this right, I'll make a lot of people mad.
So, I mean, I see it now, so I should just start saying, you know, you're getting the answers, but you need to shut up or something, or because it seems like my ego is very overactive, especially lately when I start doing the course. It's just, I don't know whether it's the astrology or the moon.
Okay, I'll tell you what it is. No, it's always coming from your own mind.
Okay,
There's nothing you're experiencing that's not coming from your own mind.
okay,
Always. Right? Because I'm the one that's determining how I see everything that's happening around me. So all of my feelings are coming from what I'm telling myself. Everything I feel is coming from what I tell myself. Do you want to get past your ego?
please.
You like to? But even if it's an easier way, is that okay?
Sure.
Okay, allow it. Allow it. Allow it. Allow it. Allow yourself to get angry. Allow yourself to feel depressed. Allow yourself to feel afraid. Allow it. Allow yourself to have those thoughts, but don't use them to direct your actions. That's how you get past the ego. See, it's a trick to take all your attention and focus all your attention on your ego and those thoughts and how you're going to get rid of them and how you're going to battle with them, because that gives them power. That makes it seem like it's really a big deal. It's nothing your ego likes more than all of the analyzation and focus on it that we do. Like when people say stuff like, I'm going to get rid of my ego and I'm going to kill my ego. It's like the ego is getting, yeah, give me all that power. Make me real. But when I go, oh, it's you again, ego, cool. And I'm going to go do this. Now, it doesn't mean I'm always smiling. It doesn't mean I'm always happy. It means I allow.
So that means even when it's like, okay, I'm forcing myself to read the course, and I know it's like, you know, do it for a few minutes, and then, but just allow myself to say, okay, put the book down. Even that. So
This is what you do.
let's sit this down.
Okay, you study the truth, right? It begins to become difficult. All right? You keep on studying for 2 more minutes.
Okay.
That's a long time. 2 more minutes. If the resistance drops away, you continue to read. If the resistance does not drop away, then stop. You've read as much as you need to read right now. See, that's too easy, isn't it? What's the formula now, you all?
2 minutes.
If you study and you have any resistance, how much longer do you try? A couple of minutes. If your resistance still happens,
2 minutes.
then you stop. If your resistance goes away, you keep on. Now, another way that to also remember this, your understanding isn't a powerful contribution to the truth. Your studying is a symbolic gesture showing that you are willing to have God handle it. It's not what's creating you handling it. It's your gesture to show you are willing to have the universe handle it. That's why your understanding isn't necessary. But if you keep reading, you're going to come across something that you read that's going to knock your socks off and it's going to wake you up. So you may be reading and it looks like absolute Greek to you, and all of a sudden you'll come across a sentence in this book that will knock your socks off. And that's the one. So let go of your belief in linear learning, which is somehow or another, you need to analyze it to learn it, and you need to understand everything that you're reading in order for you to benefit from it. That's old school. That's the hard way. Woo! You are such a blessing in my life. I can't begin to tell you how grateful I am for you.
I want to tell you how terribly grateful I am that you are with us and teaching us, and how much this means to me. It is just beautiful. Thank you.
I love myself as you. I love myself as you. I love you. Now, I don't know how to love nobody, but love can come through me to you. I don't try to love people. It took so much pressure off me. Y'all still trying to love people? What you do is you always want to be a conduit to let the love come through you if at all possible. But you don't source the love. You're not the cause of love. You're the cause of specialness. You source specialness. In other words, I'm the one who determines who's going to be special to me. But love is beyond my control. If you love somebody, you can't control it. If you really love somebody, you get mad because you can't control it sometimes. That you're having feelings regardless of what you want to feel. You just love them no matter what. And then people think you're crazy because you just can't help the way you feel. That's the way love is that way. Specialness isn't. Specialness is a bargain. And it is something I'll take away as soon as you don't do it the way I want you to do it. So specialness isn't love. So it's okay to have special relationships. Just don't fool yourself into thinking they're real. And you will never be hurt. The Course teaches that the only thing that hurts us in this world is that we forget it's an illusion. That us deceiving ourselves, that's what hurts us. Or else we could have a great time here all the time. But it's my deception that's hurting me. Deceiving myself that's hurting me. Like for instance, if I came in here expecting everybody in this room to act just the way I wanted them to act and to treat me the way I think I wanted to be treated, then I would be going through pain constantly. Right? But if I was to accept that it's impossible for you not to change, and that I should be looking forward to the fact that everyone I know is going to change and everything about them is going to change, and then I get in a relationship and I expect the relationship to change, then the relationship won't hurt me. But it's our insistence on trying to make it be the way that we think we want it to be that causes the pain, rather than looking for the love in you and letting the love in you create the form between us that's going to be the best way for us to experience each other. So I'm going to tell you what I want from you. Let peace extend from my mind to yours. Let peace extend from my mind to yours. Let peace extend from my heart 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 to yours. Now look around and get on the edge. Get on the edge and look at somebody and go, let peace extend from my heart to yours. Let peace extend from my heart to yours. Let peace extend from my heart to yours. Let peace extend. What about wealth and abundance? Let's go. Let wealth extend from my heart to yours. Let wealth extend from my heart to yours. Let love extend from my heart. Now listen to this, listen to this, listen to this, listen to this, listen to this. Now the message your brother gives you is up to you. What does that person say to you? What does that person say to you? What would you have them say to you? What would you have them say to you? Your decision about them determines the message you receive. Your decision about me determines the message that you receive from me. Your decision about me determines the message that you receive from me. Your decision about the other person determines the message they give to you. Your decision about the other person determines the love they give to you. The joy you receive from another person is coming from you. You got to give what you want to receive. You got to give. So I want to be joyful, so I go, you are so cute and juicy. Yeah. You are so cute and juicy and innocent. You are the light of the world. For Earl, you are the light of the world. Tell somebody, you are the light of. I know we hate to interact, but it's called oneness. You are the light of the world. Yeah, you are the light of the world. But what? Say we are the light of the world. That's what we're here for. We are the light of the world. Say what? We are the light of the world. Yeah, I am entitled to miracles. Woo! I am entitled to miracles. Yeah, I am entitled to miracles. Because it says what I put out here is what I'm going to receive. So I'm offering you love. I'm offering you abundance. I'm offering you peace. I'm offering you happiness. I hope you have it. I want you to have it. That's all you deserve. That's it. That's all you deserve. Yeah, I appreciate y'all. Thanks for coming out today. Woo! May the Course be with you. Oh God. y'all available. Thank you, you powerful, innocent, juicy creatures.